Riot has released the 2v2v2v2 game mode again, Arena. Only this time, I don't want to rip my head out because of people playing Heimer Zyra every game. So, since Arena is the 2v2 mode, I decided I may as well bring my own duo into this video. So, I would like to introduce you all to Sonny. He's the best boy, and I've got no idea how the fuck I'm going to record this with him in my arms. But anyway, I'd like to welcome you all to an Irish review of 2v2v2v2, the Electric Boogaloo.
Me and my boys gonna mess you up. I rolled a one, fuck.
So I'm sure you're all familiar with the Arena mode to begin with. It did just come out in the summer, but just in case you're not, I'll speed through it nice and quick. 4 teams of 2 fight in a series of duels, gaining levels, gold, or augments between each round. You also end up playing on different arenas, which also can end up having different effects depending on the arena in question. And that's pretty much it. So, moving on now, and you know what, I think you all get the joke because I cannot hold him for much longer because he does not want to be up here. Now, I have to be honest with you, I wasn't the biggest fan of Arena when it first came out. Sure, it was fun, but it was missing a lot of things. You couldn't queue with more than just your duo, there were some insanely frustrating champion combinations, there were some champions that were just outright horrendous for the game mode, and then you also had stuff like the amount of fun you could have was severely limited by your augment RNG, and along with that, if you got dive bombed, or the enemy just had someone with GA, it was nearly impossible to end up winning that round. However, a lot has been done to fix all of this. Back during the summer, there was a good few balance patches going into Arena to make sure that people would stop playing shit like Heimer, and Alistar, and Poppy, and all the other really stupid characters that were available at the time. And they also issued some buffs to a lot of characters who just kinda sucked terribly in the game mode. However, the winter edition of Arena has also done a fair bit of self-defixies. To begin with, my absolute favourite part is that you can queue with up to 7 other people. So finally, you can have whoever the hell you want to join in, which means that CC can join us as well. Yes, there's 2 of them, and yes, they are twins, and also yes, they're little shits. But I love them anyway. Next, you can revive the first death that your team has each round, which makes certain augments like Dive Bomber genuinely useful. And honestly, this is probably my favorite part. I just like that you can revive your teammates now, even if it is just once. It makes it feel way more engaging, and it makes it feel like you can get back in the game after you've already had one of you taken out. But even when it happens to the enemy, you still feel like that you've got the advantage and that you can end the game quickly if you focus them down. Killing one person on the enemy can quickly change the pace of a battle. It can immediately go from being a high-stakes 2v2 to a, oh good lord, now we're playing a Tom and Jerry scene because this person has to run for their lives. And finally, augments. So augments were already in the game and they would do exactly what you think. They'd augment your champion to do some crazy changes of any kind, but they have improved them so much in Arena 2.0. I'm not going to spend too long listing a bunch of them because they've released so many new ones, so I'm just going to list off a couple of my favorites that exist in total. Starting off, draw your sword, become melee, gain health, gain damage, like all that. There's just something hilarious to me about a Jinx genuinely having to run into your face if she wants to actually do damage to you. Like seeing something like a Jinx or a Kog'Maw with the range of a Tahm Kench is just... It's so dumb, but I love it. You've also got just the entire Curse series that gives you infinite health. I played a game with Ornn where I had basically a mini Swain ult around me that would give me health for every enemy that was in it and for every second they were in it. I ended up finishing that game with, I'd say, like at least a good 15,000 HP. Like, yes, we lost because one person built Blade of the Rune King, but it was funny. You've also got Giant Slayer, which just makes you itty bitty. And of course, Jewel Gauntlet, giving your characters the ability to crit, is absolutely hilarious, especially when it's taken on characters who have no business having their abilities crit at all. Have you ever seen Pantheon E crit for each tick of damage? It's bullshit, but it's funny bullshit. But by far, my favorite augment that they added is Raid Boss. You get suppressed in the middle of the arena for 9 seconds, unable to do anything but watch. Either after 9 seconds pass, or when the enemy drops you to 50% of your health, you explode, gain a 40% shield, and just every stat in existence, and you can go to town on the enemy. It is so stupid, and I love it so much. Along with Augments, there's also different items that were thrown in. You've got, of course, the nightmare that is Hellfire Hatchet. Briar with added dot is... you should do it. It is an experience. There's also stuff like Perplexity, giving you mixed armor and magic pen. So already, you give a Catarina player that, and you give them the Hextech Gunblade in the game mode, and they're just having the time of their lives. But either way, I don't really want to talk about the items that much, because honestly, the items you build each game completely change depending on your augment RNG. Another thing in Arena 2.0, which I actually kind of don't like too much, is the changes that they made to... I don't even know how to refer to them. The wiki didn't have anything for them. There are these fighters that can affect each round. You've got stuff like Silas, who will give you a new ultimate every time. You've got Thresh, who can go ahead and throw out a lantern. Gwen can heal you. Pike will dash to you and stun you. All that kind of stuff. Basically, just another champion will appear in the arena and fuck with you. There's only about 5 in Arena 2.0, whereas after the second patch that Arena 1.0 got, there was so many champions, which gave you a lot of variety. You had stuff like Shaco, Evelyn, Jin, who were all added into the game mode to add some variety. Now, if they do go ahead and add something into the game mode, then that's going to be great, and I'm going to personally love it myself. But as it stands at the moment, I just don't really like the lack of variety in extra fighters who will join into the fight. I know before it was because of the Soul Fighter event, so they put in all the Soul Fighter champions. Well, personally, I still think you just keep all the Soul Fighter champions who are there, and you can even just slowly add more over time. Say, if they're going to go ahead and add new characters for the next patch, I think you definitely keep stuff like the Samira and the Evelyn, and all the other characters that they did add into this game mode, just because it's a little boring only having the same 5 go around. I had one game where I got Silas 3 rounds in a row. Like, yes, it's still fun because at least you're getting different ultimates, but you can kind of see the issue I have with this. Arena 2.0 is definitely a big step up from what we got in the summer, and I really, really hope that we get to keep it as a permanent game mode. But before I sign off, I want to offer a little bit of wisdom. And by wisdom, I mean just really funny combos that myself and my friends have found for ourselves that just have no business being as fun as they are, but I think you should all give them a try anyway. Starting off, we've got Warwick Briar, which is run at the enemy or heal trying. I don't think I need to explain it any further. There is also just a classic of becoming a massive wall with 2 bruiser/tanks. We've done it with stuff like Set Ornn, Ornn Mundo, Set Mundo. Basically just those 3, because honestly any other tank in the game you're kind of just going to be suffering. Those 3 are the only ones with enough built-in damage to kind of fuck people up. Pantheon Galio, or just anyone with a global ult to follow Pantheon in, is kind of funny, especially if you can land right on one of the enemies, then all of a sudden there's 2 of you who've pretty much just teleported onto whoever it is. You've also got stuff like Zilly and Lilia, which... I mean, come on, do I need to explain this one? You're just going to be running around at Mach 10 every game. But tell me yourselves, what are some fun combos that you like in Arena? And if you've stuck around this long, sure look, drop a comment, drop a sub, drop a like, all the other YouTube stuff, and I'll talk to you next time, lads.
Hello, PixelRory here, or future, I don't really understand the timeline. But anyway, when this video goes live, I'm after having done a D&D stream with some of my friends the day before. But I'm going to be doing another one tomorrow, Saturday the 23rd of December, at 7 PM Irish time, which is 1 PM Central, and you can figure out the rest for your own time zone if it's not either of those. But that's all, so I just hope to see you there.